Okay, good. What are you eating?
Not eating anything. I'm actually just having a coffee.
Oh, you still drink coffee?
Yeah.
You don't have it first thing in the morning, though. You have it at 11 o'clock.
No, this is my second coffee.
Oh, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Okay. That's one thing I had to drop,
Why is that?
coffee. It would give me heart palpitations. It affected my sleep. It just didn't work for me at all. So
Okay.
I work better without it, yeah. How many do you have a day?
Well, this is like a triple.
What?
So
Do you sleep okay, though?
as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm gone.
Okay.
So I have no issue sleeping.
Okay. All right.
And this is my second triple.
Okay, wow. You know what? That is one thing I really do miss, coffee. I walk past coffee shops and I just smell it and it's just like, oh, I really want one. But even decaf, I found it bothered me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just very sensitive to it. I don't know, but I just choose not to have it at all.
Interesting. Is that something that has been as of recently? Is that something?
I think because my adrenals were stuffed up bad, so coffee didn't help me at all. Yeah. So yeah, doesn't work for me, so I just don't have it.
Fuck, that's a shame.
Yeah, I know. It is a shame because it's also a social thing. Like my friends will say, hey, let's go out for a coffee. And I can't have coffee. Anyway, I just have water. I sent a message to my family chat and I said, hey, guys, I'm going to interview this guy in about an hour. Do you have any questions for him? Because I have 4 children. Mm-hmm. So I have 3 boys and a girl, and they're all pretty active. And I've been trying to sort of say to them, you don't need carbs. You can bulk up with carnivore. You can't really bulk up with carnivore. You can answer that actually, but you can get results just by being carnivore. And so my husband said, but don't athletes need carbs as they train many hours and push their bodies? What do you think?
This is an interesting one because I train a lot of athletes. In fact, that's pretty much all I train. And the majority of people are carbohydrate burning human beings. That's essentially what they are in terms of they consume carbohydrates. I mean, we'd also burn them as well. We just produce them through either fats or proteins. Now, in an ideal world, sure, everyone could adopt a ketogenic / carnivorous way of eating to optimize their health. But the reality is, not many people actually give a fuck about that. Most people are thinking, well, like you mentioned before, coffee. Now, you are obviously very strong-willed to cut coffee, despite it being a significant impact on your social life. So when you come from, I was going to say an ethnic background, but that doesn't even make sense. It's just any background for that matter. If you're just a human being, by and large, carbohydrates are plastered in all of our foods. In everything. Sauces, like breads, if you come from you can't have pies. There's a lot of things that you need to abstain from to adopt this way of thinking. Mm-hmm. So look, I'm a realist in my approach. Do I believe that you don't need them? Absolutely. However, it's very difficult for me to sit here and tell someone that wants to optimize their health or wants to optimize their performance above all else, and they haven't bought in on the carnivorous ketogenic, type of way, or essentially no carb type of way, because that's a long journey, as I'm sure you're aware of. It's not something that just happens. And even if it does happen, the reality is most people aren't going to stick with it long term. So, do you need them? The answer is no. However, if you're going to consume them, or even if you're going to say for example, if you go 5 days of not eating them and then 2-3 days of eating them, you may as well just eat them, because you're going to constantly be in a state of, I'm burning fats, I'm burning carbs, I'm burning and you're never going to fully become fat adapted. And if you never become fully fat adapted, you're kind of half-assed in both scenarios. Sure, your health, I would argue, would probably be better, but your performance as an athlete will drastically decrease. So if you're going to consume carbs, just consume them. And the majority of people, it's so much easier just to go have them. Because bottom line is, like I mentioned, you've got to have a real strong mindset to completely go against them. Like, imagine like going, like you're Italian, and you go over to your grandma's house and she's made a pasta. What are you going to say? Oh, no, I'm carnivore. Reality is, no one's going to do that.
Yeah.
Unless they're sick-minded like us.
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of fall into it.
How did it change for you, though, when you stopped eating carbs as an athlete?
When you say how did it change, are you talking like...
Your performance, results. Did you notice anything?
Look, it's been such a long time now. I think I'm about the 8th or 9th year that I've been doing this. So if I rewind the clock from when I just started, I was playing football at the time. I don't recall being quite a considerable effect, because leading into this process, there were many times in which I would be in I remember when I was playing, I would fast pretty much all day, and then I would go to training. And I was already kind of well on my way before I had really sold myself onto this way of eating. But from memory, I don't believe there was a crazy change whatsoever. No, I think it is a lot in the mindset, because people just associate with I need, or it can be a placebo where I need the food, and if they don't have it, then they start panicking. Whereas on the flip side, it's unusual, because I've also got a couple of clients, or I've spoken to a lot of footballers that prior to a game that they're going to play, they actually won't eat out of pure nerves. So they wake up, say the game's on a Saturday afternoon, and because they're in such a heightened state, they actually cannot stomach food whatsoever. And as a result of that, well, they've actually not consumed any carbohydrates prior to the game. Now, from a scientific standpoint, that's actually going to be a detriment to your overall performance, because you haven't got enough energy. And they haven't been fasting long enough to tap into their fat stores. But it's not like they have a drop in performance. And when you look at this from an ancestral standpoint, they're going out to play a game of football, competition, training, anything of that nature, some physical exertion, which is directly correlated to what our ancestors would have been doing hunting. Now, there's very, very rare case a hunter would have gotten up and eaten before hunting. I'd argue that that never happened. They wouldn't go for the hunt if they had food already.
That's right.
So a football game or a boxing fight or a run or whatever it is your hunt. And you get up and you abstain from eating prior to your hunt. Despite the fact that your glycogen stores aren't completely full, well, you're actually in a state of mind where you're hungry. And if you're a hungrier hunter, you're probably going to go hunt a lot better than the one that's already eaten. So kind of goes against the science, and it now drives into that just do or die type of mindset.
Yeah, right. That's interesting.
But yeah,
I like that.
It's something that's very, very common, very common.
Okay. Well, my son then wanted to know, are you still competing? I noticed that you're a boxer too. Is that right?
Oh, look,
okay.
I probably wouldn't call myself a boxer. Like
But you compete.
I've competed.
Yeah. So what did you do to prepare for game day, what did you eat, say, the night before, morning of, and after a boxing match?
Okay, so my schedule would be I would get up. I would get up. I'm more or less fasting pretty much all day, up until the afternoon. And what I would do is I would consume 2 meals, and that's usually the premise of the premise of my eating. If I'm training on that day, then I may have a meal during the day, at 2, 3, 4 o'clock, kind of depends on what my schedule is. And that would be a lighter. I wouldn't eat too much. So
like what? What would you be eating?
mostly fatty meat. Mostly
Fatty
fatty meat.
meat.
And something that's probably more so easily digestible. So not fatty meat. I would go with eggs. I would have fatty food.
Okay.
That's a lot more easily digestible for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, it's just, I've experimented with foods, and I needed many hours for it to fully digest before I went into the pursuit of training. So I went and thought, you know what, eggs, they're pretty much already mushed up by the time you've eaten them. I'm going to digest them a lot easier. They don't feel as heavy on me.
Okay.
So I'd consume them. And then after dinner, after training, I would have a fatty cut of steak, which typically consisted of a Scotch fillet with a couple of eggs, depending on how hungry I was. But that's pretty much the premise of what my eating is, and currently is right now.
Okay. All right. Okay. And then hydration. So what do you drink
Hydration
for hydration?
Hydration will just be water, and I get these like electrolyte packets. They think they're called Ancient Lakes.
Ancient Lakes. Yeah.
Literally just tastes like salt.
Yeah.
I just sprinkle that in the
That's
water.
it?
That's it.
No Powerades.
Nah.
Yeah. And do you recommend that for your athletes that you coach? Do you recommend that for them too, for hydration?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So you've been doing carnivore for 8 or 9 years, longer than what I have. I've only been doing it. So I came across carnivore back in 2019, roughly. I saw Dr. Sean Baker on Joe Rogan. And my goal has always been to prevent disease and optimize my health. That's always been my goal ever since I got diagnosed with autoimmune disease, right? So I got diagnosed with Graves' disease almost 12 and a half years ago. And then within 6 months, I was off meds. So I'm not on meds. I've been off meds since then. And so, yeah, my goal has been to prevent disease and optimize my health. So I've always been looking at different ways I'm always learning, basically. I'm unlearning and relearning. And I came across Sean Baker, and up until then, I was paleo. And then I sort of thought, you know what, carnivore sounds actually like maybe more of a species appropriate diet. I might give it a go, but I didn't really give it a go properly. And so then I drifted into keto as well after that. But it was only about a year and a half ago where I thought I saw some signs that I didn't like. And I thought, you know what, if I had a coaching client and they came to me with these signs, I would say to them, let's strip back and go carnivore. So I thought that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a go again and try it. And that's what I've done ever since. I think it was September 24. It was a little bit tricky when I traveled to Cyprus in October because, there's fresh figs and there's, halloumi. I mean, halloumi is still okay, but I'm not very good with dairy. But I've essentially been a strict carnivore ever since. So I've noticed my body is thriving. So it's I don't like to say it's a diet. I just think that it's a species appropriate. I just feel like this is what we're meant to be eating, right? So what was it for you 8 or 9 years ago that made you start carnivore?
It's interesting because I got a very similar story to yours, because I also watched the Joe Rogan podcast with Sean Baker. And I believe that was in 2017 back then. Yeah. And I was actually training with a friend of mine. And at the time, my mate had always a very far right type of mindset with everything. And at the time, it piqued my interest because I was thinking, this is actually quite interesting in what you're talking about. And then it just so happened to be that podcast also got released, and I watched it, and it actually it literally made sense to me. Now, I, much the same as you, I came from a paleo type of, I was experimenting with keto before, and, you know, I just look at things pretty, I guess, logically. There's an abundance of food here on planet Earth in which God has given us. And that also includes, you know, vegetables. That also includes fruits and things like that. Although I do claim to be a carnivore, I'm not sitting here say, don't eat fruits, don't eat vegetables. Like, at the end of the day, my grandparents, God bless them, all three of them have passed away. They all passed away at 95. And then one of them is still living right now, and she's 91.
Wow.
And they were by no means full carnivores.
Yes.
They had a lot of food that was essentially just paleo. So there's many sides to it. Now, that doesn't mean carnivore can't work. I mean, yeah, I fell into it based on, well, it made sense, and it was just so much more simple. Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking, all right, I'm cooking a salmon, for example. Why am I fucking adding broccoli to it, or, you know, a salad to it? All this extra effort for what? Just so I can tick the box of looking like it's not weird? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because if you just, God forbid, have a piece of meat on your plate and then that's it, it's like, where's the rest of it? So I guess I started to think, well, why am I actually consuming these things? Am I doing it to fit a narrative?
Programming.
Am I programmed? It didn't make sense for me. And then once I understood nutrition to a deeper level, I thought, well, okay, if I'm going to have a piece of meat and then the rest of it's going to be the accessories, so to speak.
Yes.
Why don't I just have more meat instead? Because pound for pound, it's going to be more nutrient dense than the accessories. So I thought, I'll just have more meat. I'd have to prepare less. It's so much easier. And that's it. The only thing I could have thought of to have the accessories was to break up the meal and allow me to, I guess, enjoy the meat a little bit more. But once I fell down, I guess, the rabbit hole even deeper, it made me understand that if I'm just eating the meat in itself and I get to a point in which I'm full, I shouldn't need to have a bit of spinach to, you know, change my palate and then be able to eat more meat. If I'm eating enough meat and I'm full, that's it. Whatever's left on my plate, that's the end of the meal. And that's my body telling me enough's enough. And that's a big disconnect I find a lot of people have with food, because they're not eating a species-appropriate diet. They are eating based on addiction. They're eating based on programming. They're eating based on emotions. And when they're eating these foods that are literally created by food engineers to light up our brain like drugs, I mean, if I have a piece of chocolate, I'm looking for another bite as well. Just because I'm this carnivore doesn't mean like I don't look at, I know the power of what's in that shit. And if I have one, I'm like, I need another one. And I don't know why, but I just cannot help that.
It's addictive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I was at a family barbecue yesterday and there was some nice salads and rice, and I'm not going to pretend I didn't want to eat it. I do miss a lot of things. But I know it's not going to respond well in my body. I know I'm going to bloat. I know I'm going to have brain fog afterwards. It's just not worth it for me anymore. And what about, like, I have 500 grams of mince for breakfast in the morning, and I usually have it just after sunrise. I walk with my dog in the morning, and then I come home, make my breakfast, and I sit outside and I have my mince. I can't have mince again during the day. It's got to be just my breakfast, right? And then I won't eat again till maybe 3 o'clock. And that's like, I'm talking about from 7, say, till 3 o'clock. That's 8 hours. But I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just not hungry to eat again, right? And so people say to me, oh, carnivore's so restrictive. And no, actually, it's freedom. Because I can go the whole day and not have to worry. Before, I used to get shakes because I needed to eat every 2 hours. I needed to put something in my mouth because I couldn't handle it. I needed something. It was probably to do with my sugar levels, right? So I'm no longer snacking every 2 hours. And my body looks great. I feel great. So how is that restrictive? I just don't get it. Like, you know, have you found that?
Look, I'm way beyond that point at this point in my life. I'm just kind of, people just get it. They don't bother trying to push it on me or anything like that.
Yeah.
I've just created that, I guess, reputation that, you know, you're just not going to have it. Look, for myself, I'm younger than you as well. So it's not going to affect a young man as much as it's going to affect someone that's, you know, a little bit older. And this is the dangerous thing as well, because especially young men in their 20s, I'm 34 at the moment, we think we're invincible. And the reality is you can get away with a lot of shit in your 20s, not making the right decisions, but still being able to perform. I played soccer with guys that were on drugs. And sometimes these guys perform better than me. And I'm sitting there scratching my head. I'm like, how is this? How does this make sense? How am I injured and this guy's on drugs all weekend and his body's able to perform? So some things don't actually make sense. That doesn't necessarily mean they're right. But what patterns are you putting into your brain as a young man when you're able to get away with these things during your 20s? Long and behold, you're going to be in your 30s eventually, and then 40s, and then 50s, and everything everything you're doing in your 20s dictates what your 30s are like, and so on and so forth. So for me, look, if I have a pass to say, I'm gonna feel bloated. I'm still gonna be able to perform and train. I know I'm not gonna feel as good, but it's not gonna be the end of the world for me. However, what I have seen is that these guys that haven't made the right decision in their 20s, I see them now in their 30s because they're my age and they're struggling in all metrics of life. I genuinely feel right now, at the age of 34, despite the fact that I'm not actually playing football, I feel like I'm in my athletic peak. I'm moving the best I've ever moved. I'm feeling the best I've ever felt. I'm competing with guys that are, you know, professional boxers. You know, when I'm coaching them, I'm training them, all these things like that. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. And I honestly feel like I'm only going to continue elevating. So, yes, it's definitely hard. It can be restricting. I full understand that. But at the end of the day, I look at the people that are saying it's restrictive, and then I look at the life that they're living and the way they're moving, and I'm like, well, the way you're able to move seems very restrictive to me. And what you're physically able to do seems very restrictive. So I'd rather restrict my food than restrict my physical capabilities.
Yeah. I stumbled upon you this morning, and what caught my eye was struggles of a carnivore. And I'm like, okay, so I thought, let me hear what your struggles are as a carnivore. And you were talking about how we're Greek Orthodox. I'm Greek Orthodox too. And now, actually, it's today, right? Fasting starts today. Is that correct? I think it's today.
Last week.
Or was it last week?
Last week.
Okay. And so Greek Orthodox fasting means no meat, right?
Yeah, there are exceptions. I mean, you can have like some calamari and things that don't bleed, but yeah, by and large, no, mate.
Yeah. And I know I can't do that because I know I'll get a flare up. I know I'll have an autoimmune response. And also I'm celiac, right? So I can't even have bread. So then I'm looking at maybe then having to eat beans and what my intestines will explode. Like it's just not compatible with me. So then you feel this guilt. Okay, wow, now I'm a bad Christian because I can't fast. And then you get judgment. And so I had to let go of all of that. And I know that in my daily life, I try to embody Jesus Christ's teachings in everything I do. So I'm thinking, I'm not going to allow that to make me feel guilty just because I can't fast for 40 days. But you're doing it differently.
Correct. See, look, last year I did the fast. I went against pretty much everything that I preach, everything that I embody, and I went and I wanted to make that sacrifice because I had actually never done it ever. I had done like 5 days in Holy Week, but I had never thought, you know what, I'm gonna give this a red hot crack and see what it's all about. And I thought, you know what, I may as well do an experiment at the same time. So I did it. I did it for about 33 days. I didn't do it for the entire time. But it felt very different. It felt very different. Like I remember I was getting up, I was eating oats in the morning, I was putting water with it, I had a vegan protein. What else was I doing? I was putting berries in it and with honey. And to be honest with you, it tasted unbelievable because it was just a sugar explosion. And I actually remember getting up every morning and really looking forward to eating it. Really looking forward to eating it because it tasted unbelievable. It ticked all the boxes of, you know, the dopamine receptors of your brain. But I actually felt, in comparative to what I am right now, like not even close. So for dinners, what was I doing for dinners? I was making like a protein pasta. I would put some like seafood marinara in there that I was able to put. Sometimes I made some faques, gigantes, things like that. A lot of beans.
And how did your body respond?
But I was going to the toilet like 88 times more than what I am right now.
Whoa, yeah, wow.
Way more. Because it's just all waste.
Waste.
It's literally just all waste.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a big change. I had put on a couple of kilos, probably like 2, 3. Look, I was still training. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. Probably was a little bit of fat. Mostly would have been water.
Okay.
But I did do my blood results after.
Okay.
And I got them tested, and I actually found that my testosterone was higher after doing 33 days of essentially straight vegan.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
It was actually higher. Now, there's more to the data that meets the eye because my total test was higher. But the total test isn't the be-all, end-all of the data. You've also got there's like ratios that go into everything. So you've got your total test, which was high. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but it was definitely higher than what my total test was when I was doing carnivore. My SHGB, which is a sex hormone, something.
Yeah.
That was significantly higher as well. And my free testosterone I'm pretty sure was higher. Overall, all those 3 numbers stacked up to be far higher. Now,
wow.
The difference though is the total test really means jack shit. It's all about the free testosterone.
Okay.
And that's the usable testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
So when I correlated the data, my SHGB being higher is actually not a good metric. So I think I was in like the 80s, whereas when I was carnivore, it was about the 50s. So it was a considerable jump. So the more SHGB you have from memory, that means that the less testosterone you're able to have freely running through your body. So it actually inhibits it. So you actually want the number to be lower, which is what it was in carnivore.
Okay.
But then you've also got to look at the data like, well, what are your inflammatory markers like as well? What are your cholesterol levels like as well? Triglycerides. Essentially, I was far healthier as a carnivore.
Okay.
And my free testosterone, after doing the math and the ratios between total and SHGB, was better as a carnivore. But if you had no idea about how to look at it and you just saw total test, you would look at that and go, you're better off being a vegan.
Well, this has been an issue for me too. So when I started carnivore in September 24, the following year, February 25, I thought I'm going to go to my GP and do a blood test and check my levels. She rang me in a panic. She's like, Eleana, your cholesterol levels are dangerously high. You need to go see a heart specialist. She was panicking when she saw my cholesterol. And I'm like, calm down. I'm doing carnivore. I didn't tell her. And then I told her I'm doing carnivore. And this is the issue because our body functions differently when you're doing carnivore, and we're kind of not compatible to the typical blood test because the averages, from what I understand, are based off people who are essentially carb eaters, right? So we can't be really compared to them because our body is functioning differently to theirs, right?
Correct.
And so she's in a panic, and then she's like, I go, okay, listen, I'll go get a second opinion. So I thought I'm going to go see Dr. Paul Mason. Have you heard of him?
I have, yep.
Yeah, he's in the carnivore low carb space. And then I also saw Dr. Max Goldhain. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Also, he's all about circadian health and he's also in the low carb space as well. And they reassured me, it's okay. Your cholesterol is actually really good. You don't have to worry because my triglycerides were low, my sugar's low. We need cholesterol, that's just, another programming thing where they make us believe that cholesterol is dangerous and all of that. So then I reassured my GP, it's okay. And then I also found a book written by someone called Stephen Thomas, who's known as the UK carnivore. And he's got a book about guides to bloods as a carnivore and a keto person, because it will be different. Like you said, like your testosterone will show differently. Your
SHGB.
Yeah, but there's also another marker. It's called to check your sugar levels. That's also going to be showing higher than normal. So because our red blood cells don't really, they don't die as quick as a carnivore. So there's certain things that doctors need to know when they're interpreting our bloods when we're carnivore, yeah. So that was a bit of an issue for me too. So how did you work out the whole testosterone thing? Did you just do your own research?
A bit of my own research. I've got a couple of good friends that are doctors as well that are my way of thinking, so to speak.
Okay.
And they help me out with that. And then there's quite a few guys on the internet that have, I guess, dissected their bloods that are in the carnivore space. So yeah, that's where I kind of came to that conclusion. But cool. Overall, I think ultimately what people also fail to realize and completely ignore is, how are you feeling?
Yes.
How are you feeling ultimately? A certain number may mean something, and sure, there are numbers that are important.
Yes.
But and this is and this also ties into like our way of. This isn't just a diet.
No.
This is it's a completely different mental state. This is why I said to you earlier, I go, I can't just go, yeah, do this. Sure, theoretically it'll work, don't get me wrong. But you've got to go through a certain process before you're really able to embark on this journey.
Yes.
Because it's essentially definitive of who I am. And not just what I put in my mouth. In my way of thinking, my way of training, the way I look at the world, the way I interact. It sounds like this crazy kind of cult behavior, which, but reality is it has changed me significantly for the better. And through that, it's allowed me to look at life in general and think, well, hang on a second, like, what else are they bullshitting us about?
Yes.
And, that can just take you down a slippery slope in whichever direction you want. But ultimately, it's just made life so much more simple. And it's made everything make a hell of a lot more sense. But by and large, how are you feeling? Are you feeling great? Perfect. Well, then it doesn't really matter what a number says.
That's right. Exactly.
And when you feel that way, this way of eating, it brings us back to our primitive state where I don't have to sit there and go, all right, well, this steak's 50 grams heavier than what it should be. I'm going to cut it off because, God forbid, I overconsume my calories. And another number standpoint where we take away the fact of this, and it's now becomes a better relationship overall with food. Despite the label of it being restrictive, it's like, well, you know what? I'm hungry. I'm going to eat. And I'm going to eat until I feel like my body cannot continue eating anymore. And when you're in tune with that, you have that freedom because you're not subject to, cholesterol's number 5. I must be sick. Well, it's like, well, do you feel sick? You know what I mean? And I used to count food. I used to do all that. I used to be in that mindset. And that's not to say it can't get you results. Don't get me wrong. It absolutely can. But again, this has now allowed me to look at life differently. And I just think it's stupid for me to sit there and weigh a fucking steak. It's like, well, am I serious right now? No, I'm just going to eat the damn thing.
Yeah, and then you stop. And then you stop when you're full. Like, honestly, I can have a big steak and I think I'm going to eat it all, but then I come to a point where I'm done and I can't actually look at it anymore. And that's it. I'm done for the rest of the day. Yeah. So if someone wants to work with you, what do you offer? Like, you're a coach? So do you have a niche? Like, is it just for,
Yeah, so the premise of my training that I do in person, it revolves around coaching a lot of athletes. And athletes come to me for all variety of different reasons. A lot of them are youth athletes, so between the ages of 8 to 18, that kind of look at me like an older brother, a coach that's still relatively cool, that they look up to some capacity. And I train them through essentially a training methodology that I've created. And I call it the orthodox performance method. Now, orthodox meaning, obviously I'm Greek Orthodox, but
no, I know.
Obviously the originality behind it. We take our shoes off. We basically train barefooted.
Okay.
And the reason why I do that is because, well, I've seen so many athletes these days that when I see them run, I see them jump, and I see them move around athletically, well, they're wearing a shoe that's inhibiting them from actually strengthening their foot. Let's just wipe the slate clean, just like Carnivore. Take it off, and let's create the building blocks from the ground up, and we'll take it from there. So a lot of my training that I do with my in-person clients is revolved around that. And most of them are the youth athletes. My online guys that I work with, they're typically over 18 because they're a little bit more confident in the gym. They can do their own thing, and that allows me to service people, with further out than the confines of my actual gym. So I can spread my wings a little bit more. But those guys, they're expanding in terms of like what the niche is. Now as I get older, I'm tapping into a niche of older men that are more so my age, that are either ex-athletes or they're looking at me and thinking, well, fuck, I've been doing something wrong for years. I'm 34, my back's sore. I want to still be able to run around. I've got kids and I'm unable to just play soccer with them. And they see the way I'm moving and my philosophy in my life. And they can't help but feel that, well, whatever he's doing must be working for him. So I need to maybe take a leaf out of his book. So I'm peeling into that as I get older, and I do foresee that occurring for the many years that I go into, stay into coaching. As I get older, I'll gain more experience. I'll understand more so what an older person goes through, because I've probably got no idea what a 40-year-old man goes through right now. So it's hard for me to sit there and coach them.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of life. So
but you can't,
progress, then as too will, I guess, the clients that I have.
yes,
They'll also progress too.
but you can't go wrong with functional movement, right? Because it's something that we, at any age.
Well, I always like to say that whether you're an athlete or not, I don't believe that athletic type of training should be subject to just athletes. It should be subject to everyone, because the longer that you can stay moving like an athlete, where you're running, where you're jumping, where you're changing direction, sprinting, punching, fighting, anything for that matter, well, then you're going to be useful for far longer.
That's right.
And again, you take it back to our primitive state. It didn't just become where you had to. It was a means of survival. I just weighed myself today. I'm 900 grams heavier than what I was when I competed in my first fight just over a year ago, about 2 years ago now. And I said in the story, and I said, I'm only 900 grams heavier than I guess when I was at my peak about to fight. And what I was getting at that is, you should always be ready. You should not have a period of absence from training. You should not have a period of an off season or anything of that matter. Because if I lived on that type of mindset and someone was to break into my house and I've thought, you know what, I've done my fight, everything's all good, I'm just going to pack on the weight. Well, how am I going to defend my household?
Yeah.
And how would that apply to someone back in the day when they had to go hunt? They wouldn't have that mindset. The mindset would always be at your best. Be on edge for whatever is thrown at you. And that only can be applied when you think of life through that optimal health lens. If you don't think that way, then I would have my fight and go, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to eat pizzas. I'm going to eat pastas.
Donuts.
Exactly. But because I don't look at what I was doing as restrictive and it was like a jail sentence, well, I just go back to I don't go back to what I was doing. I just continue doing what I was doing.
Do you think everyone's capable of this?
No, I don't. I'd like to think so. Unfortunately, too many people are too far gone. And yeah, it's very sad, but I think, being loud about what we say and ultimately leading by example. Leading by example, because you can say whatever you want. If you're not being the example, then it really makes no sense. And, I actually admire the people that are much older than me that are doing it, because I understand that it only gets harder. And I actually look forward to the next 10, 20 years of my life when I have children, because I know and I hear all the excuses of the kids and this and that. And
don't listen.
All I want to do is be an example as to how I can just completely eradicate that excuse.
Yes.
And continue doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I just flow into it, because that is what I'm looking for. Because I used to always, I still do, but I see people at the gym that are much older than me, and I see them, giving it their all. I stop and I say, hey man, like you are essentially what I want to be. I want to be that guy that people look at and go, fuck man, like you're still here, well done. That old guy that's, still being able to compete. Because if you do the right thing, you are able to. I've seen it from my 20s up until now, my mid-30s, and you even more so. But I'm seeing it now within the fitness industry and guys that I've worked with and that I've known. Mate, these guys are on peptides. They're on, TRT. Some have cycled steroids, and it's just like, how are your testosterone levels so low when you're a fighting fit male in your 20s? Even in your 30s, there's no excuse, in my opinion. And that's why I'm so grateful for the decision I made. 2017. I probably started properly in 2018. So like 8 years ago, where I embarked on this journey, because I don't believe that had I not done that, I would probably have to conform to the drugs and all the other shit that they're taking just to do exactly what I'm doing right now, which doesn't seem like a fuck ton. It's a maiden train. It sounds crazy. It's that simple, but that's all it is.
I mean, you look at Sean Baker.
Exactly.
He's a beast. And, you got Anthony Chafee too. He's another one. And he's full lion, lion diet, and it's like, look at these guys. They're just eating meat. You don't need anything else, but you need discipline.
Well, that's it. I mean, you have the right people around you that support you in what you're doing. And again, I say this to guys a lot that want to make change, that want to work with me, that, may have seen something that's triggered them to want to reach out to me. I say to them, guys, you have to understand that if you really want to do this, be prepared to, not speak to your friends for a bit. Be prepared to cop a lot of backlash. Like, it's not just as simple of let's do this and then go on. Like, you will be put in a lot of tempting scenarios in which, if you're not strong-willed, you will conform back to the person you are. That's why it's a complete identity change. It's not a simple, let's just change what's on our plate. Your entire identity must change. And that is why I say that I do not believe everyone can do it.
It's like people want the easy way out in everything. And they want the magic pill. They think it's just that simple. But you got to work hard.
Correct.
Yeah. My father-in-law, he was an Olympic weightlifter. And now he competed at the Commonwealth Games and Olympic Games. And now he's 78 years old. And he went to this gym. Like, they've got their own gym, but he went to a local gym with my mother-in-law because she does Pilates, and he thought, while she's doing Pilates, I'm just going to go and lift some weights. And apparently he walked into the gym, and, he's this old-looking man. Like, he's 78, but he looks older, and he's walking in, and he's there back squatting heavier than the 30-year-olds and the 20-year-olds there. And it's good because he's become an inspiration to my kids as well. And he's showing them by example, like, you just got to keep going. Like, you got to keep training and taking care of yourself. And yeah, so they're pretty lucky to have him around. And that's what you said before. You got to just make sure you have the right people around you as well. So you don't conform and take the shortcuts that don't end up being shortcuts in the long run.
Absolutely. Because it's longevity. I mean, anyone can do it in their 20s.
Yeah.
When responsibility is at its ultimate lowest, you've got all the time in the world, your health should be at its absolute peak. Who can do it for, when they've got kids, when they're running a business, when health technically is against them, and every single factor is getting harder. Who's able to sustain it then? And that's where you got to take your hat off. Otherwise, if all in the ideal world, which is in your 20s, and you can do it then, I'm not really impressed. Really impressed. Who's doing it when they're older?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Any final thoughts, Chris, before we go?
I really don't know.
How's Melbourne? I was there last month for the tennis.
Oh, yeah, you came for the Australian Open?
Yeah, came for 3 days. We watched, I love Djokovic.
Yep.
And I really wanted to see him. And I especially loved what he did during COVID.
Yeah, it was a big statement.
Big statement. Yeah. And it was shameful the way Australia treated him during that time.
Oh, absolutely.
What an embarrassment that was. Anyway, but he was always a favourite, but he just he just took it to the next level during COVID when he stood up for the people who were fighting against, the mainstream. Well, not fighting, but, you know, we all just wanted our choice, that's all.
Yeah.
And he was just saying we should all have a choice, yeah? That's all he was saying, essentially. And this guy is an athlete and trains every day, takes care of his body, and he was a threat to our country. And he was put in a refuge motel or something when he came here. Anyway, he was mistreated. So I thought I really want to see him before because it feels like he's on his way out.
Well, I mean, he's close to 40 years old, so yeah.
Yeah. So I thought we really want to watch him. So we managed to see him, and we managed to see Kyrgios and Kokkinakis, and that's another one we wanted to watch. So that was really good. It was a huge event. Like it's really well done.
Oh, is it the first time you've been?
It's my second time. I've been to a final, but the final didn't have the same vibe because it was still the beginning of the Australian Open. You get the atmosphere is different. It was just. I mean, it was chaos, but it was nice. It was a nice vibe. So we had a really good day.
Yeah.
Melbourne was nice. Whereabouts are you in Melbourne?
I'm in Southeast. I'm in Moorabbin.
Okay, so that's where your gym. Do you have your own gym?
Yeah, and that's where the gym is.
That's where they can find you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Chris, this was meant to be because I was actually booked in for another podcast that rescheduled, and this was just way too easy. Thank you for your time.
My absolute
Thank
pleasure.
you for saying yes. This was awesome. I think your information is going to help inspire a lot of athletes, and I hope they. Where can they follow you?
You can just follow me on my Instagram, which is Chris Tamaza's Fit.
Yeah. I'll put the link below. Is there anything? Are you on YouTube?
I'm on YouTube as well. You can find my longer form content there too. Facebook. I mean, all the big social platforms. If you search up Chris Tamaza, I'm sure my name will pop up somewhere.
And they can just contact you through any of those platforms, or do you prefer Instagram?
If you go through my Instagram, that's your best bet
That's
if you want to make
the
contact
easiest
with me. Yeah.
This has been a pleasure, Chris. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And maybe we can do part 2.
For sure.
Actually, do you know that there's a Carnivore Live in Adelaide?
I'm going to it. I'm actually going to be a speaker at it.
Are you?
I am.
How come they didn't put your face?
Because I had it confirmed whether I'm going to be there or not. I literally just got back to Melissa this morning.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm planning to go to Greece in late August and
Okay.
I believe it's September 12th.
Yes. So
And-
you'll be back.
Yeah, she actually asked me, can I confirm if you're on? And I said, yeah.
Right.
I said, yeah.
Well, we've got VIP tickets, so we'll have dinner with you. And I look forward to your... Whereabouts in Greece are you from?
Up north.
Okay.
Kasturian Ceres. And
Okay.
as you can see here, proud Pondian.
Yeah, beautiful. We have a local Pontian club actually in our area, in Elwood, here in Sydney.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah. My background's actually Cypriot, so I have to come and explore the north of Greece one day.
Both Michael Barty is Cypriot. Even Manuel Nye is Cypriot as well. So
Oh, really? Yeah. There's a lot of Cypriots in Melbourne.
heaps.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to meeting you in September, Chris.
100%. Yeah, I'll
Thank you.
definitely be there. I'll be chatting.
Matt, thank you so much for today.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.